loving it. Oh, I'd definitely, if you're on the fence, I'd definitely recommend it. Just go for it. Just go for it and give it your all.
Hi, Sister Maria, and I just want to say the Accelerate conference today was brilliant because why? It was very diverse. We had diverse speakers with different experiences. A lot of the information was transferable, was practical, very sound speakers who it's not just theory, but you can see that it's from experience, it's from what they've done, it's from what they've succeeded in doing. So what they're giving you is life experiences. And actually a few of the speakers I am going to ask them for coaching for my daughters because they were that good and I'm willing to pay the money. Like somebody said, there's so much things online these days, you really don't know the wheat from the tares, the good from the bad. I didn't know them, I just found them on Eventbrite, I fancied coming out, and I said I'm going to just take a chance. I'm coming from Dartford, so I came through the tunnel and I came, and it was worth every second, and it was free. I can't believe it, to be honest. It was worth all my efforts, and I'm just hoping that actually I may come to Dublin because it was that great, and I've always wanted to go to Dublin to do some Guinness, so you may see me there. God bless you.
Hi, my name is Joshua. I attended the Impact Leadership Conference in Dublin, where I had the opportunity to listen and engage with other professionals and leaders in their fields. I was very much inspired by the success stories of every speaker at the conference, and from there, I was really motivated in achieving my personal goals and growth in my career. So I reached out to Mr. Sheyi. I signed up for the silver package. It was a smooth process. And then I immediately started seeing the positive effect of your Best Self Yet program. The program itself is very hands-on. I mean, the online platform contains valuable information you won't really find anywhere else. The one-on-one coaching with Mr. Sheyi is so in-depth. For example, he was giving me tips on how to set achievable short-term and long-term goals. There are various elements or ingredients to the program that I can't really disclose. You just have to find out yourself. But it'd be very beneficial for individuals that either in different sectors, in different industries, because I was quite amazed by the areas of expertise and the amount of knowledge Mr. Sheyi has. So far, I'm really enjoying this journey with Mr. Sheyi, his mentorship and his coaching, and overall the program itself. Although there's still a long way for me to go in the program, but I believe I'm on the right track in achieving my personal goals and growth in my career, and most importantly, maintaining a healthy personal life.
Hello, I had an amazing time at Impact Conference. I wasn't really sure what to expect because my friend invited me, but I learned a lot about selling, about my personal brand, about tech, and like women empowerment and diversity, and hopefully I'll be able to apply it in my day-to-day life and in my career. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Donna. I am a support worker in the Links Community Project, and I'm based in Inchicore. So I attend Solid Rock Church, and I heard about it through the church, and initially I'd put my two sons' names forward. Was never planning on going myself, but I'm really glad I did. One of my sons couldn't actually make it, and I'd put both of their names down, and I just decided that I'd go along and see what it was like. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't think I'd really enjoy it, and I also thought it was going to be a long day, but I couldn't believe how quickly it went. I think we had a break for about 15 minutes, if I'm right, and even on the break I couldn't wait to hear the next speaker. I thought it was really, really inspiring, and listening to different people's struggles and the resilience, I thought was amazing. Yes, I definitely recommend that, especially for somebody that had dreams or goals and didn't know whether to follow through or what they'd like to do next. I definitely recommend it. And for someone who was setting up their own business, I think it'd be amazing. That's why I'd actually put my sons down. One actually had his own business, and I thought, Judy, this would be great for him, give him great insight.
Thank you very much. My name is Ejiro Osakede. I'm excited to the participant at the very first edition of Impact Leadership Summit organized by Sheyi. Sheyi has been a friend all the way back in Nigeria. So we met again in the UK, and then when he told me about this conference, I decided to come. Why? Because I saw the long list of some of my admired mentors on the list, and I decided that, okay, let me just take our time to be here. But surely it was mind-blowing. Every session was power-packed. Every session was loaded to the teeth. It delivered more than, in fact, the conference is priceless. That's just the conclusion. We were blown away by session after session after session. Dupe, wow. Mohammed, fantastic. Fiona, beautiful story. You need to listen to these guys. And then if there's a premium price on this, I think you should rush out there and pay for it. Sheyi, once again, thank you so much for this privilege to attend this conference. We look forward to attending more and more. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy, and I found out about the Acceleration Conference in church. I was very overwhelmed, for me personally, because I've been very unfamiliar with the whole business side of life. I've never really had the courage to ask questions. I've never really had the courage to meet new people and find out different things. So I was so overwhelmed with the amount of wisdom and knowledge that was poured out through the conference. I thought everybody that was speaking was so experienced, and I thank them so much for sharing what they had gone through to give encouragement to people that are studying in their studies or that are trying to run businesses. The one thing that stood out for me especially, I would say, is the connection side of everything. I think that's the main reason why I would encourage people to be a part of this whole movement. Is such a good opportunity to get to know people that can give you advice, people that already have the experience. So you're not just isolated on your own. So you're not just going through this journey and making the same mistakes that somebody else has made, that they can already give you the knowledge and the wisdom how to avoid certain things and how to move in the right direction. I think that was the biggest thing that stood out for me, and the encouragement. With everybody speaking, everyone was so encouraging in the way that they were saying things, that even though things may not always be easy, things may be hard a lot of the time, but if you have the will, if you have that thing and you're able to identify that thing that you know that will keep you strong, no matter where you are in your journey, and whether you're studying, whether you're in a new occupation, whether you're in a new aspect of your career and you're kind of like not really sure what your next step should be, or maybe you're thinking, oh, I should opt out of this. It's like if you have that thing that's keeping your willpower inside of you, then it keeps you motivated, it keeps you pushing even when you don't feel like pushing. But yeah, that's what I took from the conference. I was really blessed by it. I was really, really blessed by it.
My name's Ejiro Bristol. I'm based in Dublin, and I attended the leadership conference. I think it was about a month or two ago. I found it really inspiring. There was a really good selection of leaders, female Black leaders, which I thought was the most interesting, in really powerful positions, who told their stories and really connected with the audience. I fully enjoyed it. It really encouraged me to take a step forward in terms of running my own business and moving forward in my career. And I would highly recommend at least going along, seeing what it's all about, listening and networking with other people, and just having that time for yourself.
Hi, I would love to give a review of the amazing Shea Better. He is extraordinary. He has helped me to reach profitable growth in my business and took my business to another higher level. Working with him, he gave me so much clarity, and I truly appreciate what he has done for me. He gave me the key to bring my business to a higher level so that I could reach out to my clients and reach that profitable growth in my business. His energy and his true opening heart, he's amazing. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you have done for me. And I highly recommend anyone who is looking to, reach out so that they could connect with their clients and literally become that best version of themselves so that they can connect with their clients and bring out that best version of themselves, because he is extraordinary. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you have done for me and my business. And if anybody is looking for a coach to bring their business to a higher level so that they can make that impact and reach out to their clients and reach profitable growth, I highly recommend you to work with him. He is extraordinary. So thank you very much, Shea Better, and namaste.
Hello everyone, it's a great privilege and pleasure to be recording this feedback after a great session with Shea Osakede of Taisei Consults. I had this session after enjoying the Impact Leadership Conference. It was indeed impactful, insightful, And it opened up my views and my sights to a whole lot of things around my life. I then had this one-on-one session with Ejiro Osakede himself, and I must say that at the end of it all, I could summarize to say, indeed, having to speak puts life into a lot of things that we think. And so I would recommend that everyone interested enjoy these sorts of sessions, as they help you to put flesh and life to all of those plans, purposes that we have for ourselves, even as we go along in life. It's very important for us to think these purposes, but what is more critical is to bring them to life. If we think them, if we dream them, and we don't execute them, then we don't get blessed, and we don't get to bless our world. The session was interesting, it was enlightening, and wisdom comes across all as we desire it. And just as I said earlier, I would recommend that everyone interested enjoys these sorts of sessions. It will help you a lot. It would also cause you to think through, and as you pen down and speak, you begin to take action towards a more enviable future. Thank you, and I wish Ejiro Osakede and the team greater success, even as they impact on lives. And I would always continue to participate in their sessions as much as I can. Once again, thank you, God bless you, and all the best.
Good day everyone, this is Pranesh Jagannath from Durban, South Africa. You know, they say, first impressions make a lasting impression. Ejiro Osakede is the person that makes a lasting impression to all those who come in contact with him. Be your best self yet. He epitomizes that. If one is looking at leadership, where else can you draw such compassion, such eagerness from a gentleman who's unselfish, focused, and ready to share? Sir, I really commend you on the remarkable job that you do. Either as an author, or as a convener, or as a leadership trainer, a coach, you seem to have it all, sir. You are an example of what the youth should be like. You are a proud son of the African soil, and my association with you is nothing but highly commendable. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to learning a lot from you. Age does not matter. Thank you.
First, I want to say that I am.
We host Ejiro Osakede in this session. Ejiro, also known as the Energetic EJ, is a multi-talented professional in the fields of singing, training, sound engineering, voiceover artistry, podcasting, and event hosting. She is the resident MC at the Female Founders Initiative MEA and has received numerous awards for her contributions, including the She Awards and Recognition Awards. As an audiobooks creator, Ejiro has worked with notable authors like Edwin Amaka Eze, and Adewale Richard. She is dedicated to supporting audiobook creators, narrators, and podcasters by providing content, courses, and a supportive community. Ejiro is the convener of the Becoming Summit, an initiative that inspires young individuals to become the best versions of themselves. The summit has reached audiences across Africa, Europe, and Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing ovation, make welcome Ejiro Osakede.
Yes, we have Ejiro Osakede, popularly known as Energetic EJ. So for the rest of today, I'm not going to call her Ejiro, I'm going to call her Energetic EJ because that's what it is that we know her. So you are welcome, EJ. She's joining us all the way from the UAE. For those that do not know, right now I'm in Ireland, and where she is in the UAE is 3 hours ahead. So she's staying up late at night to have this conversation with us. Thank you very, very much, and we welcome you. Now, I know we've just gone through your profile. We've heard who it is you are, but we always like to hear from what we call the horse's mouth. So talk to us. Who is Ejiro, or who is Energetic EJ?
Energetic EJ is the energetic woman you're seeing on the screen. Okay, so she is a purpose-driven individual who believes that she is wired to inspire lives. And so she's very, very particular and careful and intentional as much as she can be in how she shows up, because she knows whether she's aware of it or not, whether she likes it or not, whether she permits it or not, there is somebody somewhere watching her, busy getting inspired. And so I am an inspirator by design and an energetic being by personality. This is who I am, and it's a pleasure to be on the program today.
Fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you on the program as well with me today. So, just wondering, you've been recognized for your work as an audiobook creator for African authors. Could you talk to us about, how this important amplification of African literature through audiobooks started? What has the impact been so far? Talk to us about this, because you do this on a global scale. You've done it. Please talk to us maybe about a number of some of these notable people it is that you have worked with. We are interested in that. Talk to us about that.
Okay. It's a journey, and it is one that has honestly stretched me so far. This vision was caught in 2014 when I went for a particular course back then. It was a short course. Basically, I went for a course to become an on-air personality. But I've never been on air in the traditional sense of it, like on a radio or TV station. But I'm glad that I went for that particular course. But because it was in that course that I encountered a particular material that was used. It's called the Bible Experience. And it was a collaborative effort by everybody who was anybody in Hollywood, right? Everyone was there. Denzel Washington, T.D. Jakes, name all the big name, Kirk Franklin, all the big names you know, they're there on that program, on that particular project. It's called the Bible Experience. So basically, they converted the Bible into audio, but bringing it alive, not just narrating it, acting it out. And it captivated my heart. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I found my life's calling. And I'm like, you know what? I want to replicate this for Africa. I want to, I dreamt of a time where I'll be able to create classics or work on a classic like, Things Fall Apart, like Chimamanda's book, like Wole Soyinka's book, just bringing it to life. This was the vision I caught to, well, things happened that
Yeah, still on the vision is still work in progress,
it's
but it
working
started
progress.
already because I mean you started working with notable people as well. Fantastic. Just before we move on, I know you're also the convener, you're the brainchild behind the Becoming Summit. Now, how does that help young individuals to harness the power of their voice to make a difference? And talk to us maybe some of the successes that you have experienced so far.
Well, the Becoming Summit again is something that I just feel like all of us are becoming, just like you said right now, it's a work in progress. We are all becoming a better version of ourselves on a daily basis. And the earlier that we begin to appreciate that and be more intentional about that, the better for every one of us. So Becoming Summit was born out of, just inspiring young people to say, come, you can become a better version of yourself. And you don't even necessarily have to become like somebody else. You can get inspiration from them. You can get, motivation from them. You can even get mentorship from them, but you do not necessarily have to be like them. So far, I've conveyed four of those. The first two, basically, I would say were mega. The first two were mega because the first one I did was in 2021. First two I did was in 2021. The first one was in March towards around the International Women's Day. And the second one was around June for Father's Day to commemorate Father's Day. So it was a combination of for the women in leadership and for the men servant leadership. And I kid you not, it was a success. Honestly, it was a success because the compilation of speakers, the knowledge and the sharing from those conferences was mega. The other two, however, were smaller versions of it, right? But still carried the impact because again, I've seen people who come back to say, "Wow, thank you for putting this summit together. We got value and all of that." So yeah, it's just let's just call it one of my impact projects. That's it. Yeah. So I believe that some of them, the content that are there are not just for a time, they are for a period of time. And so for everyone who comes in contact with those particular content, they are definitely going to live with something. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, so the title of what it is that we're talking about today is Your Voice, Your Impact. For the benefit of someone that is wondering, what is the inspiration behind that topic? What is that all about? Can you talk to us about that?
I'm a firm believer that we all have a voice and our voices are meant to impact lives. Well, we're not all meant to speak. We're not all meant to be speakers. We are not all meant to be on a stage or on a platform, but we can all make a positive impact in life. We can all impact lives that are around us. And how do we do that? We do that with our voices, right? And for me, I would say there are two sides to your voice. You have the vocal voice, the one that vibrates, that brings out the sound that you hear. But you also have the implied voice, right? You also have the implied voice where it's what you represent, it's who you are, it's how you show up in life. So, what you stand for, what people can look at you and say, oh, this is it about this person. That is your implied message, right? But your vocal message is you actually speaking towards a topic or towards an area or advocating for a particular thing in the society. And for me, my advocacy is that we all have a voice and we might as well just use it to impact lives positively. We all have stories that we can share that can bless the next person. We all have experiences that we've gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly, that when we share it, we can actually inspire, motivate, correct, or direct the next person. And so it is important that we begin to appreciate our journeys and put a voice on it and share our stories. So that could be do maybe writing a book. And for me, I'm here to say, okay, you have written the book. There are people who are visual learners, but there are also people who are auditory learners. Can we convert it into audio? We need people to do that as well. Or it could be that, oh, okay, you're such an expert in your field, you've had years of experience, and now you're looking, man, your time, your clock is counting, and you're like, oh, how do I leave a legacy behind? How do I transfer this knowledge to the next generation based on my own experiences? Then you can actually start a podcast just like I'm doing to say, you know what, I want to transfer this knowledge to the next generation and I want to have something that I can be remembered by. And a podcast can actually do that for you. So that is why I said your voice, your impact, because everything you say, everything you do has an impact in the life of at least one person. I am a one person person. I believe that everything that I do is impacting at least one person. But it just happens that that one person is replicated in probably 1,000 persons more or 1,000,000 persons more because I mean we are 7 billion or over 7 billion in the world generally. So, but I, show up for that one person. And yeah, I believe that we all have a voice and our voices are meant for impact. And so that's my message basically to say your voice is your impact. Are you using it? And if you're using it, are you impacting positively?
Wow, that's very deep, and like you rightly said, we all have a story to tell, and the sooner some people feel their stories are not relevant or their stories are not needed out there, and that's why they keep these stories to themselves. But like you rightly said, everybody has a story to tell, and there's at least one person out there that is waiting to hear that story. Like you said, one mind at a time as well. Part of what we get to do, our ultimate vision for all the things that I'm doing, is to make our world a much better place to live in, one mind at a time. We are having this webinar today. If the only thing that gets to happen is only one person has a renewal of mind, then my job here is done today. But we're hoping much more than one person gets a renewal of the mind, and we continually get closer to that goal of making our world a much better place to live in. Now, earlier in our conversations before coming up to have this webinar, you talked about having the LCU, your voice, and then the ABC, your voice. Can you talk to us about, because some people will be wondering, what are all these letters about? The LCU, your voice, the ABC, your voice. Talk to us about this, please.
Okay, first of all, LCU. So LCU is in connection with your vocal voice. So the voice that you speak, whether you want to become a speaker, a podcaster, an audiobooks creator, or just somebody advocating or anything, but you're using your vocal voice, right? This vocal voice is your instrument too. If you want to become a public speaker, your voice is your instrument. If you want to become a podcaster, your voice is your instrument. If you want to become an audiobooks narrator, your voice is your instrument. And even if you choose the advocacy path, your voice is your instrument because what you're doing as an advocate is speaking up for the marginalized, is speaking up for the people who cannot speak up for themselves. And so, what do you do? If you play an instrument, what do you do with your instrument? You care for it, right? So that's what LCU stands for. First of all, you love it. A lot of people don't share their stories because they don't even love their voice. They don't love the way they sound. And so they are not confident in even speaking. It is why some people are mute, like literally mute. They are quiet. If you ask them conversation, they nod and they just say just a little. because they don't even appreciate, they don't even like, they've not come to the point where they fall in love with their own voices. And I can empathize with them because at one point I was there where I felt like my voice was too masculine. It sounded too masculine, you know. It's kind of when ladies' voices are sounding very sexy, you know, and we are sounding like brother. What's going on? And then at some point, jokingly, but this just stuck with me. Jokingly, in the gathering of, in a choir gathering, our music director at the time said, what's this one? Why are you sounding like a masquerade? It was a joke. We laughed at it at the time, but I didn't know that it was such a strong force for me back then because I can't, for me, anything that does not serve me, I am very good at packing it and boxing it away. I will not remember it, honestly. And that's why I don't even know how to, I don't carry people in my mind because once you do me strong thing, you do me bad, I forgive you, but I'll keep you in a file that says, do not engage. I can talk with you, I can relate with you, but I can never be close to you. I'm like that. So, but this particular, incident stuck with me. It meant that it really pained me. But at the time, I laughed about it, you see. But then I had to come to terms with it. That this is, if I'm a firm believer that everything that God created was good in the original sense of it. When He created me, I was good. Yes, there was the corruption generally as men, that men fell and everything. But still, it does not mean that the actual prototype called energetic EJ now that God created was faulty. No, I am not factory defaulted, right? I am good. What God created was good. So I have to come to terms with it. So this voice fits this body. It fits this packaging. You see, I am not a big person. I am somewhat petite. So if I now have a tiny voice with my petite nation, baby, nobody will listen to me. Maybe people will not take me seriously. You understand? Of course, but I know that again, thank God for innovation and creativity. That now even people with tiny voices they can be mega. E.g., Ellen Paul, she proved it to us, right? So, but again, I have to come to terms with it that my voice is unique to me, is unique to my wiring, is unique to my composition. It is what I need to thrive as the person that God has created me to be. So I had to fall in love with my voice. Check it out. For people who are not speaking, for example, the first time, or some people, especially people who know or come to sense that they are not comfortable with their voice, they've recorded their voice once and played it back and like lie. That's now, is that how I sound? No, ew, my goodness. Right? First time, if you try it, you've never tried it before. I guess right now it's becoming more, acceptable because of voice notes. You send voice notes every day on WhatsApp, and sometimes you play it back to yourself and hear. I'm like, now wow, this is how I sound, man. People have been trying. This is what they've been listening to all these years. But you've got to love your voice. You've got to come to terms with it that it is uniquely wired for your specific purpose here on earth. So love it. That's what L stands for. And now that you love it and you know it's an instrument, let me tell you, if you have an instrument that you just keep, e.g., I was supposed to be playing the guitar or the ukulele. I've not touched both instruments in months. I've become rusty. Even though I know where the strings are, I know where to place my hands. If I attempt to play now, I would not be able to strum fast. I will not be able to switch my chords fast because it's been a long time. It's the same way. Your voice as your instrument. If you don't use it, it becomes rusty. Yes. The more you use your voice, the better. Let me tell you, if you go and listen to something that I recorded in 2014, 2015, 2016, and now, 7 up, the difference is clear. You will hear it, you'll be like, in fact, the person that said you sounded like a masquerade was correct. What is this? But right now, I don't sound that anymore. People listen to me now, I'm like, man, I love your voice. Yes, because me, the owner of the voice, I have loved it too. So You know, if it speaks to you, you are going to love it as well. Because when you love it, go and check any instrumentalist that love their instruments. There is a way that they carry the instruments. You will not see a lover of their instrument see it, no matter how much they love the child, even if it's their own child or their nieces and nephews. The moment you are doing, Yoruba will say you are tafele around their instrument, they will, don't go there, don't go. They will stop you because they love the instrument and they love to play it. When you see an instrumentalist who loves to play their instrument, it goes beyond performing for them. There is a relationship between them and their instruments. It's the same thing. So when you see your voice as your instrument, you will begin to use it in a more meaningful way. So that's what you stand for. So love your voice, use your voice, and C stands for care for your voice. Have you seen an instrumentalist before? A guitarist, when they are bringing it out, even though it is inside box, there is a box for it. But when they want to play it, they will bring it out. They have a napkin that they will use to wipe the strings, they wipe the body. It's like, oh, my baby. It's the same thing. So you want to care for your voice. You can't be shouting anyhow all the time. Even for us who speak regularly, right? See, my water bottle is here. And I'm not going to say because I'm streaming live, I will now die of dry throat. I will say, oh, please give me a moment. Let me sip my water. Yes. Can you see? Even the difference is clear. The moment the water touches the truth, I feel alive again. Now I can fire down for the next 1 hour and not feel, it's caring for the voice. It also determines what we eat. Right now, I can't remember the last time I drank cold water. Like, I don't drink cold water. The only time I would do it is probably there is no other option and I'm in the desert. I cannot come and die of thirst because I don't drink cold water. And cold water is the only thing that is available. But cold water affects my voice. If I drink cold water or cold stuff too much, it affects my voice. So I run away from it. But that's because I'm caring for my voice. Because I know this is my instrument. Today, now, this is the third session I'm having today. I've had a podcast recording today as a guest. I just finished a session on another platform and I'm jumping on this one. And after I finish from here, I'm probably going to jump on the next one. So I have to care for it. Now that means in today alone, I have used the voice. So a day like tomorrow that I don't have too much, I have just one session to host tomorrow and it's tomorrow night. So it means that the whole of tomorrow, I'm going to be resting my voice. Even though I will be out, I will manage my voice. I will speak not too much, not too loud, not screaming, so that I can rest the voice for use for tomorrow. So again, you have to care for the voice, and there are different techniques to care for your voice. You can go on YouTube and search, but just pay attention to it and pamper this instrument you have. Because
Fantastic. So the LCU means you need to love your voice, you need to care for your voice, and you need to use your voice. Okay, so that's the LCU. There's another part of it that you need to talk to us about because I'm sure people are wondering. So what is the ABC of your voice as well?
So the ABC is to the part of your implied voice. Your implied voice. So the message, what you stand for. You might not be the vocal one, but still you stand for something. And that is also still your voice, your message. So A is acknowledging it, appreciating it, accepting it. What is that? It's more like it's tied to your purpose. What do you think your purpose is? Why do you think you exist? What is your assignment per time? Because a lot of people struggle with this topic of purpose. What is my purpose? For the longest time, I struggled with it. I will pray, I will fast, I will beg, oh God, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Now I've come to understand that yes, I am here. My ultimate purpose here on earth is to glorify God. But in the glorification of God, it's different assignment for different seasons of my life, right? So I embrace every season per assignment. And so what is your assignment? What is your purpose? So you need to accept it. If you're not sure about it, please pray. Talk to God about it. Fine, go search. There are different techniques. There are different science to knowing what you are wired for, what you are inclined to, what are your temperaments, what's your personality type. Go and do all the different personality tests to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you're good at. For example, my top 5 strengths. Okay, I can't particularly remember all the 5 right now, but I know that coaching is one of them. And so I know that if I really dive into the coaching space, it's a space that comes naturally to me. And I'm not even certified yet, and I'm already coaching. People already name me coach. I'm already working with coaches. I work in coaching community. I actually coach people, right? Another thing is another of my strengths is empathy, right? I'm an empathizer. I can step into people's shoes to kind of feel what they're feeling. And so because of that, I can connect with people easily. Because sometimes I just know there are times that a name will just come to mind and I just reach out to the person and it is right on time. And they're like, oh my God, DJ, thank you for you called right on time. I needed to speak to you. I needed the energy. I needed. So their personality test around it. But as a person of faith, the fastest route is to just go to the maker, the creator, the one that designed you, factory maker. Go and ask him, Daddy, what though? Where am I? Lord, Father, Abba, whatever you call him. Please, God, what do you want me to do now? And then he keeps guiding you, because if you work with God, you will know he shows you the bigger picture, but he does not show you the whole steps that you're going to take to get there. So you are constantly dependent on him as you go, because sometimes it might reroute you. All right. So ask and acknowledge and accept. A. B. Build confidence. Build confidence in using your voice. Build confidence, whether you want to use your vocal voice or your implied message. So for the implied people, for example, you might not be the type of person, maybe your personality does not allow for you. You could be a melancholy person or a phlegmatic who is very slow, very relaxed, very reserved. So you don't really come out like us, that we are sanguine, we are everywhere, we want to speak, we want to talk, we're very, can see me moving my body. I cannot be talking and do like this. Like, it's dull. It's against my policy as an energetic EJ.
Like someone like
Right?
me, I'm a very shy person.
Do you understand? You can see you're just sitting one place, you're talking, but even you that you're shy, when the talk enter, like Burna Boy song say, when the bedu enter body, right? When the talk is at the peak of it, you will see yourself gesticulating, right? So in that is that, build confidence. Build confidence. And how do you build confidence? See, the one and only way, the one and surest way is practice. It's practice. You have to keep speaking. What do you stand for? You have to make people know, starting with your immediate relationships. You need to let them know what you stand for. You're not quiet if you are that kind of person who cannot watch other people cheat people, you can't be quiet. You can't look the other way. You have to let people understand. So, the B, build confidence. And the way to build confidence is by practicing. So if you look at that in the sense of speaking, using your vocal voice, practice. So stand in front of the mirror, practice. When you're walking on the street, practice. When you're talking to people, practice. Role play. Role play. You want to be into the voiceover artist space. Role play. When you hear adverts on TV or radio, repeat it to yourself. Like, try to act it like them. That's how people grow in their mimicry. They're able to mimic people. They're able to speak. And that is a fantastic skill. I am not skilled like that. But that's a fantastic skill, because if you want to apply that in audiobooks narration, I recently read an article of a particular veteran in the narration space. And I think the guy that did, I can't remember his name right now, but he was the one that narrated Harry Potter. Imagine, one person. And he said he spent time in his preparation for that. 100, he said, no, I think it was in an interview. They asked him, like, what do you do? As I said, sometimes I'm spending time practicing my voices. He said in one particular season, he was practicing 137 voices. One person, one human being. I was like, what? Me, I'm even struggling to do 3 characters, right? But all of that must have started from just practicing, mimicking different voices. So when they meet people, for example, they can mimic. Somebody like Trevor Noah does this very well. Trevor Noah can mimic and speak like people. He speaks like Barack Obama. He speaks like Trump. He speaks like, people that you can relate with, right? It's practice. He's been doing it over, and you can do the same thing. And that's how to build your confidence. And finally, the C is consistency. Now you've loved, you've cared, you've used your voice, you've acknowledged what you are for, you are building confidence. Please show up consistently. Consistently show up. Right now, I'm still in my game, I'm still on my journey, but I can assure you that when you talk about podcasting in the African continent, right, in the African space or Nigeria, let me say Nigeria, I'm still growing because continent is huge. Well, I'm trying to spread my tentacles into other African continents. But when you talk about the Nigerian space and everything, at least for people who are actively doing it online, my name will come up. I don't know what number yet, maybe on my 100 or number 50, but I'm building my way up to number 1 or top 10. When you call, oh, who are active podcasters in Africa? And I'm saying Africa because I want to stick with that. Who are active podcasters in Africa? Should be able to say, don't you know Energetic EJ, the host of Stretch Street podcast? This is consistency. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be celebrating my 150th episode on my podcast. That's over 2.5 years of content. And we're here.
I saw,
we're here
sorry
for
to
the
cut
long
you.
haul.
I saw when you posted the 140 something, and I'm like, that is some high level consistency.
Absolutely. And it was not easy ahead. I'm not saying consistency is easy, but it's worth it. I can celebrate the 150th now and just look back and see the journey. See, let me tell you one thing that stops people from also using their voices. They look at the end result first. They focus on the end result rather than on the journey. Now, you will look at me and say, you can go and check my numbers. You might not correlate the numbers and what I'm, but see, personally, I have grown. I have grown over the years. I have become more confident. I've become more authentic. I show up in my skin, in my glory. And you cannot dispute it when you see me, when you relate with me, when you converse with me, when you interact with me, whether you are from any planet. When you interact with me, the result or the feedback is becoming more consistent by the day. I cannot buy that in the market. I can buy followers. I can buy the numbers, but I cannot buy the results. So please, as you start your journey to using your voice, yes, see the results, have it on your vision board, look at something you're looking at, but please come back to where you are and focus on the 1, 2, 3 steps that you would take every day, every week, every month, every year that will build you up to that place. Because otherwise, what story will you tell that you woke up one morning and then, you're not a viral, you can go viral. It's good to go viral. It feels good, but don't be a viral junkie. Be somebody who is building something consistently.
This is really, really powerful. So you've taken us through the LCU, which is for you to love your voice, care for your voice, and use your voice. And you've also taken us through the ABC, which is to acknowledge that you have this voice, build this voice, and then be consistent with this voice. Incidentally, someone dropped a question on LinkedIn. It's actually from Pranesh. Okay, Pranesh is joining us all the way from Durban, South Africa, and he has 2 questions here. The first one, he says, is your brand a passive voice? That's his first question. Is your brand a passive voice? And then the second question, which I think you've kind of talked about when you're talking about this here, he says, what impact does confidence have in your voice? So do you want to take the first one, which is your brand a passive voice?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm active. Even my name, my brand name alone says it all. Do I look passive? I am not passive. I'm very, very active. I am the energetic EJ, one and only. Yeah, no, my brand is not passive. I am a very active person. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress, consistently growing on a daily basis, learning, unlearning, and relearning about myself, about the industry, about the branding, about what I want to be represented or remembered for when my time here on earth is done. So I wouldn't say my brand is passive. My
Well, I
brand
think I
is
think
very
I think what
active.
he's trying to ask is if your brand itself, not your own brand in particular, generally, if
Okay,
branding
branding itself is
is a
passive.
passive voice.
Branding, well, I think it can be. It can be. Yes, it can be. Because if you're going from the angle of the implied voice, so you're just consistently putting out, maybe you're going through the images, and so you're not actively using your voice, you're not actively speaking or anything. So you're building, but you're consistent with your coloring, your design, your graphics, the kind of messages that you're putting out, articles, everything. People can look at that and come to terms with this is what this person stands for. In that way, would that even still call that passive? I am not sure. I don't think branding in itself is passive, because passive is you not doing anything actively, but it's just running on its own. I doubt that branding is passive. It is an active effort, because whether you're making it very loud or subtle, you're still putting in some effort. So I think for me, I don't think branding itself is passive.
Thank you very much. And then the second question, I know, like I think you've talked on that already, but is there anything you want to add to that? It says, "What impact does confidence have in your voice?"
It gives you it gives you more space in the room. Because when you're confident in what you're doing, in how you're showing up, it also increases your perception. And honestly, what we thrive on, and especially in this era of the online space, is perception. Like, it is what people perceive that you are, or who people perceive you are, that actually determines the value that they place on you. So when you're able to build your confidence, you are increasing your perception in the hearts of people and the minds of people, and that kind of open more doors for you. That increases the chances of people mentioning the name even when you're not in the room. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I was just looking through some comments there. We have some people on YouTube that are loving on you. Miss Stella. Stella is joining from Dublin, Ireland, and she's loving you. Oh wow, thank you. So powerful. Dropping
Oh,
some.
thank
She's really
you.
feeling your comments there. I know we have to let you go very soon because I know you have another session coming up in the next couple of minutes. So we'll let you go very soon. But just before we do that, just wanted to find out, some people would feel right now at the level that you are, like you said, you're one of the top names to go to in podcasting in Africa. I've seen a lot of the work you're doing, even in the UAE. You've hosted massive, mega events there. But some people would think it started from there. So I want to find out what was your first experience like on stage? Or what was your worst experience on stage? What was that point that you felt like opening the ground and falling into it? What was that like? Talk to us about that. I'm sure there are probably
Okay,
several of them, but pick one and talk to us about it.
absolutely. So for the first one, so I think I would say I'm blessed too, favored, because I started my journey, my stage appearances or anything since I was very young. Since I was very young, I think in my early years, probably between 8 and 10. In fact, before then, oh wow, okay, we've been doing this thing for so long, Jesus. Okay. Um, no, I started quite early. That's just the truth. I started being on stages very, very early from church, right? I started as a church girl. So I've been leading small groups, from children church and then into the adult church, and then graduating to other churches, like going to represent your church in other churches, you know. And then, but let's say professionally, what was my first major event? I really cannot remember, but I remember one time when I think this should be 2000. Honestly, I can't remember the first one, but let's just think about the most embarrassing moment on stage. I think it was recent because I said this. It wasn't like glaring, but I knew it. So it was a it was a personal evaluation of what happened. So and it was on the biggest stage I've been so far. So it was earlier this year. One of the biggest cybersecurity conferences, JISEC, happened in the UAE, and I was one of the moderators in one of the stages. And on the second day, I was meant to introduce one of the excellencies. And I think that should be one of the major times that I've have to introduce somebody from on that high caliber. Like he is the head of the UAE cybersecurity. Like he's a big deal. I was shaking on that stage, like, Your Excellency. I was so shaking, even him, but he was so gracious. He was so gracious, like, oh, calm down, no worries. I was like, yeah, I won't disgrace my I was shaking on that stage, and I think it was glaring. But the excellency was really kind. Even the next day that he came again was like, I was waiting. I was trying to, get a picture with you, but you ran off stage yesterday. Come, let's take a picture together. And that was when we took a picture on the final day. So I think these things will never go away, especially when you're going. Every time I have to go on a stage, even the virtual stage, there's still that palpitation. But then you take a deep breath and say, see, if I am not worth being
Okay,
on this
so
stage,
sorry, I'm going
do
to
not
cut you
invite
for a
me.
bit. I just want people that are watching to see I'm actually showing them that picture of that event that you're talking about right now, the stage where you said. And the reason why I'm putting this, and the reason why I asked you the question is some people may feel that, oh, I can't get to that level. The reason why she's that good is because she's a natural, she's born to do that and all of that. But you've shown us that even at that height, even at that big stage, you've actually goofed it sometimes. And that goes to show to everybody out there, you may not be perfect, but keep at it. Keep at it. The fact that that happened does not mean you stopped. You kept doing it, and you're still doing it now. So do you want us to round up on that? I know we have to release you very, very soon. I just wanted to use that to encourage someone out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, please. Again, I say this all the time. You cannot improve what you did not start. So, yes, you can see me now. My thoughts are gathered. I can speak like this for the next 3 hours, and we are still speaking. It did not start today, and still, it's still a work in progress. So, be thankful for where you are on your journey to where you are going to. Why? Because if you look around at every point in time in your life, you will see somebody that is way better than you. But if you look back, you also see somebody that you are way better than. So be at peace with your own journey at your own pace, especially as long as you know you are putting in the work. It is only a matter of time. Stop comparing yourself with another person. Stop looking at yourself and say, God, when? When what? Do you know when they started? Do you know the pacts that they have with their own God? So please, don't stop asking God, God, when? Have you showed up? Do all you can. Put your own work. And I can assure you, if you've done anything in your life that you really put your heart into, even you can testify that you were happy with the result. So it's the same thing in every aspect of your life. So just keep practicing. If you goof, it's fine. Just earlier today, I saw a post. I saw a post by somebody I know. At some point we're close, but we're not that close anymore. But she's a top gospel singer. And she just made the same post today to say, see, let all of you not come and be thinking we are all perfect. No. She goofed on stage. She was supposed to carry a note, and the note was so terrible. She was screaming. And she's like, see, we are not all perfect. So it's the same thing, no matter how high up there you are, you can still goof. And so that should give you who are just starting to say there's a consolation for you. Again, once you come to terms with it and accept your own your own self authentically, and I would say you're good, you're bad, you're ugly, then you will be at peace with yourself, knowing that you are consistently a work in progress. So at those points where you goof, you know that, okay, I need to put in more work in this area so that I can build my confidence. And that's again another reason for you to focus on building instead of jumping.
These are powerful words it is that you have given us. Just before we let you go, what message or key takeaway would you like for the audience to leave regarding the power of the voice and the impact they can create with it?
You are uniquely created. And I believe in that thing when, they say that nobody is talentless. And, as a person of faith, we've heard the story of the talents. There was people, some given 5, some given 2, some given 1. So even the person that was given 1, there's at least 1. So there's at least one thing that you are good at. And as we advocate for you using your voice, it might not be your voice, and it's okay. So don't feel bad. I was listening to a message by Joyce Meyer where she said that God gives us gifts so that God gives people gifts so that it can be enjoyed by some, not to be envied or jealousy, not for you to be jealous. So if I'm saying use your voice and in your heart of hearts, you do not think that is who you are, please, by all means, admire me, support me, celebrate me for using my voice and say, wow, energetic EJ, you are so good with this thing. God bless you. But you see me? No, this is my lane and I am going to be exceptionally good at my lane. So as much as I advocate for voices, I am advocating for those who are convinced that they should be using their voices. And please, if you are that person, don't shut it down. You might not be there yet today. You might not even be clear about exactly what it is you want to talk about. Talk about the things that are right in front of you. And as you go on that journey, I can promise you, clarity would come and you begin to say, actually, this is why I am here. If you go and check out whatever content or whatever, material that I have out there, I was not this articulate even 3 years ago. Energetic EJ did not exist before 2020. Energetic EJ was born in 2020. 3 years down the line, she has evolved several times, upgraded into several versions, and you can do the same thing. But first, the journey needs to start. So whatever it is that your convictions are about you making an impact, it could be with your voice or with something else, start and then grow into the better version of yourself every time.
Ladies and gentlemen, she has said it all. There's nothing for me to add to that again. I told you it was going to be a wonderful and powerful session, and from all the feedback I'm getting from everywhere, it's been power-packed. Energetic EJ has brought in the energy. You see why the energy is behind or in front of the name, because there's a lot of energy attached to that. But just before we end this, just wanted to remind you, just in case you have been on one part of the planet and you haven't heard, the Impact Leadership Conference is coming up in 2 days' time. Now, it's a conference that has been holding in different parts of the world. The next one is holding here in Dublin, where I am, and you can see there are enough of wonderful, wonderful speakers. Energetic EJ is just one of the many kinds of speakers it is that you're going to be having on that day. We have 14 speakers all together speaking to us about how to accelerate growth in our careers, in our businesses, and in our personal lives. Now, the good thing is we have 2 options for you. For those in and around Dublin City, you can join in person. The address is right there. And for those that are not in and around Dublin City and want to be a part of it, we got you covered. We have the virtual experience as well. All you have to do is secure your registration to be a part of that, and I can guarantee you it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. The team has been working backstage to ensure that everything goes top notch. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. On behalf of myself and everybody that has joined this webinar today, Miss Ejiro Osakede, I want to appreciate you for taking time out of your very, very busy and tight schedule. I know once you jump off this webinar, you're jumping into another one. And like you said, you've had two all today as well. So you are very busy. You had a very tight schedule, but you've been able to squeeze out time for us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. God bless you, and well done with all the amazing work you're doing with your conferences. God bless you. Hopefully, I'll come and join one of the speakers one day in Dublin, right there.
We are coming to the UAE very soon. We are coming to the UAE.
Please, when you're coming to the UAE, just book me in for your MC. I'm the host. No other person should take that position from me, okay? God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me today. It's been a wonderful time having you on my show, on this webinar today. And look out for the next one. But until then, remember, there's greatness on your inside, and the world is waiting for you to birth and manifest that greatness. Go out there and be profitable. Bye-bye for now.